Hi there, Travis. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Good, good.
Good.
Thanks a lot for coming on to talk to us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Great, great. Well, go through our ground rules here, what we've been doing. Okay, as a nonpartisan grassroots organization, SDPRLCA is dedicated to protecting private property rights and maintaining local authority. Following the 2024 general election, where 65 of 66 South Dakota counties voted no on Referred Law 21, voters are eager to hear where the 2026 legislative class stands on these core issues. So, we'll have you introduce yourself for a minute and a half, and then we've got 5 questions of 2 minutes each, and then a closing statement of 2 minutes. Okay, on completion of the video survey, the candidate will log off the call. All 5 questions will focus specifically on property rights and local control. The candidates received a specific set of 5 questions in advance, and this will be posted in its entirety on Facebook, our YouTube channel, and our website. So, Travis, you want to just introduce yourself and tell about your background, your connection to your district, and what specific conviction or event led you to run for the legislature?
Absolutely. My name's Travis Ismay. I'm currently House District 28B representative. I'm a Christian man. I've got 6 kids. I run a ranches. Well, my father runs our other ranch up north, up by Bison, and then I run the ranch here by Newell. Um, I guess I run a welding shop, and I do a lot of legislator stuff. So that's pretty much me. I don't need a minute and a half. So,
Okay, can you tell us what made you decide to run for the legislature to begin with?
well, actually, to be truthful, I was shamed into it. So a guy told me that if you run for, or if he runs for office, then I have to run, or asked if I would run for office, and we were both really, really busy, and we both kind of agreed to not do that. And then he lost his job about a week later, and called me up and he said, "Well, now I'm running for office. Are you a man of your word?" And I went, "Okay, I'm a man of my word." So I I did it, and I won, and he lost. So I didn't even get to be there with him. So it was a heck of a deal. But anyway, that's why I ran. I love it. I love being here. I love doing my job, but that's how I got involved.
Well, great. That's the best story we've heard yet. So, we'll go into the questions. The first one is district specific. What do you identify as the primary property rights issue in your district, and what is your single most serious concern regarding it? Resource depletion, loss of local control, or unintended consequences?
That's a great question. I got to thinking over this, and I believe increased property taxation is probably our biggest property rights deal in my district. I think that the state regulations on the counties have a lot to do with that, especially in my district. There's a lot of things that I researched this last summer that I got with my auditors, and one specifically in Buffalo, a lovely young lady, and I just got with her and I said, "Why do your budgets never go down? They never go down." And she said, "Well, because of the 3% plus growth cap that they have on that." And I was like, "Nah, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why don't you elaborate a little bit more?" And she said, "Well, the problem with that is the unused index factor, and that goes for 3 years. You can reduce your budgets in the county for 3 years, but only 3 years. And after that, your baseline drops to that point, and you can only raise it 3% plus growth after that. So the problem with that is if you ever lower your budget, what happens is that baseline drops down to wherever you've got it at that current time. And then after that, you can only raise it at 3% plus growth. So what happens is no counties are ever gonna drop their budgets for more than 3 years, because it's basically financial suicide, because we have a bad winter and it washes out all the culverts or washes out a bridge, or we have a lot of snow removal where we've got to spend a lot of money. Well, they can only raise their budget 3% plus growth. Well, and like as you guys know up here, I mean, we basically don't have a lot of growth, so it's 3% every year. And what I did, I believe that actually is one of the main reasons why we have such high property taxes, is because of the regulations that the state inflicts on the county budgets and on the counties. So that would be, I know that's kind of a long-winded answer, but
Well, that's no problem. It makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, so we got okay, an action plan. What specific legislative action or policy change would you champion to address the issue?
Well, actually, last session I brought HB 1032 and HB 1317, which would have eliminated that accumulated index factor window. So those two bills would have set your baseline at 3% plus growth for every county, but it would have made it to where you didn't penalize the counties for dropping their budgets for longer than a year. That your baseline still would have went up at 3% plus growth, just like it is right now, but it eliminated that 3-year window. So you could drop property taxes for 10 or 15 years. And like, say, if we have a big storm or something, it washes out culverts, like I was saying, you could raise your property taxes up for a year to that 3% plus growth and then drop them back down again. So it would incentivize the counties to keep their budgets low, so they had a bigger window. So if they ever did need to raise their property taxes, they could without getting a bunch of loans and debt and stuff for the county.
That makes a lot of sense. And what happened with that bill?
Um, let's just say that there wasn't a whole lot of conservative thinking on that committee.
I see. I see. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, question 3. Core components. Property rights involve the right to possess, control, exclude, enjoy, and dispose. How is the right to enjoy at risk from state mandates in your district, and how will you protect it?
I had to really think on this one because, out here, quite frankly, we don't have a whole lot of state oversight and overreach. But the one thing that I did think of, and I had to deal with this when we had a feedlot here, was the regulations that the state puts on feedlots. And I know East River, they're flat and they've got to have big cesspools and ponds and stuff like that to catch the sediment and the waste off the dairies and all that. And I believe that is totally necessary, because it can do a lot of damage to waterways and stuff like that. But the problem with having statewide regulations on things like that is it's kind of like having to where not every situation is the same. And that's why I like local control a whole lot better than state regulation, because state regulation is basically a blanket policy for the entire state. And as you know, East River and West River is about as far away from each other as you can possibly get, as far as, I mean, even like the regions and stuff that we're in. Like Butte County is way different than Hardin County, and Hardin County is way different than Perkins County. But when you throw a blanket statement over the entire state, that's where it gets kind of, it's not always the same everywhere. So I like having more local control that way.
Very
But
good. Very
did I
good.
answer your question? I'm
Yep.
sorry, I got off on it. Okay.
No, no,
I
that
want
was
to make
good.
sure I answer your questions.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, eminent domain. Under what specific circumstances, if any, do you believe eminent domain should be used for projects owned by private corporations?
Um, Eminent domain, I believe like power transfer, like power transfers through power lines and stuff like that. I think that that would be something that they have now, but they've never abused it. You know, they've never had, I don't even know if they've ever actually had to use it, but I believe that that eminent domain over that should be very strictly, um, should have a lot of regulations on them. Like if they're going to use eminent domain, they would have to give, you know, a significant amount of money or, you know, the right, I don't know how to say that. It would be like, you'd have to give them, uh, the enough money to where it made the land worth giving it up, you know. So, not just take their land. It would have to be, I don't know why I can't come up with the word, but anyway, you would need to pay for it enough money to it. So that'd be the only thing that I can think of is just power transfer.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. Okay, question number 5, local control. Describe a scenario in which local control is not enough protection.
Um, I would say probably if the federal government ever decided to take something of ours, I think we would need the state government to step in and protect us as a local area. I could see that, and if I had another couple days to think about it, I might be able to come up with something else. But that's the only thing I can think of is the state government should protect the local government.
That's kind of what they're for.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, very good. Um, well, as a closing, as we head toward the June 2nd primary, it's vital that voters know how to reach their potential representatives. For our final 2 minutes, please let the folks in District 28B know how they can contact you directly, where they can pick up a sign to show their support, how, I already know that,
Yeah.
how they can join your team as a volunteer, and how to give donations.
All right. Well, that's a lot. And let me see if I can find my Facebook page here. Or I have I think it's in the comments. I believe they were going to put it in the comments in the chat. I mean,
It is in the chat, and then Cindy's putting it up too for you, Travis.
okay. And I actually talked to a lot of my constituents. I said 3 of them called me while I was on this call. So we're gonna get that back to them. But I have my phone number on there, Facebook, my oh my gosh, it's been a long day. I've been on a tractor all day. Well, all my contact information. If you would like to donate to my campaign, there's a place on my website where you can donate, and it goes directly into my campaign fund. So, I guess that's about all I got.
Well, thank you very much, Travis.
Yeah.
Sure appreciate you
Yeah.
taking the time to be on tonight.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Thank
Caleb,
you, Caleb.
someone asked what the bill number was for the county budget.
Oh, the county budget bills. There was actually 2 of them. There was HB 1032 and HB 1317. I ran the first one through, and when I was explaining it, they were in taxation, and they all looked at me like deer in the headlights. And so I went back and I explained it all to them after that committee, and I ran another bill, HB 1317, which was basically the same bill because I thought I had all of them kind of understanding, and they killed it again. So we'll see.
Well, thank you so much, Travis.
All right, thank you, and God bless you all.